All right, good morning. Obviously, a lot going on with snow ongoing across much of the area. In fact, I looked out the window. We've changed over to snow at the office here, and we've seen that change over from rain to snow in the past hour or so. Um, just looking at the radar, you can see roughly still rain across eastern Virginia, northeast North Carolina is dry, with snow across central and western portions of the area. Temperatures are still above freezing, at or above freezing, so mostly wet pavement, although it's dropped below freezing across northwest portions of the area where snow is starting to accumulate a little bit on the roadways. And conditions are expected to deteriorate as we head into the afternoon and especially late afternoon into the early evening as snow continues and temperatures gradually fall below freezing in most locations. We have winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, and also gale warnings for portions of the marine area. At least, an inch or two, 1 to 3 inches is expected across most of the area except for the eastern shore. We'll see little to no snow expected there. Otherwise, 3 to 5 inches generally in the area where we have the winter storm warning. This will definitely impact the afternoon and evening commute as the snow increases in intensity, and also, more importantly, temperatures drop into the upper 20s by evening across most of the area. And the snow will linger into the evening even in the Richmond Metro 95 corridor, and could linger through the early morning, maybe midnight or 1 a.m. across far southeast Virginia and northeast North Carolina. And once the snow ends, temperatures plummet into the teens and 20s tonight. So any wet pavement will refreeze, and in areas where you drop into the teens, even treated roads could freeze as well. And then dry tomorrow with cool temperatures, but should rise above freezing during the day. And then marine wise, we have gale warnings for the southern waters, mouth of the bay, and Currituck Sound, with small crafts elsewhere. Here is the map of the winter weather headlines. We have the warnings where we're expecting the most snow, 3 to 5 inches, potentially locally 6 across western portions of the warning, although confidence in that is not that high, with 1 to 3 for the most part in the advisory area. So moving on into the actual forecast, you can see 4 to 5 max, with lesser amounts as you get further northeast and also further southeast, where the cold air will take longest to arrive. And confidence is high that the snow will continue through the afternoon and into the evening before tapering off from west to east this evening into the early overnight hours. In a worst case, certainly, up to 5 in the Richmond area, with some isolated 6-inch amounts from Farmville to maybe southern Chesterfield and Dinwiddie County, and potentially, in a worst case scenario, up to 4 across east and southeast Virginia as well. And again, we'll watch to see if the snow can linger a little bit later across these areas. And if that happens, you could see 2 or 3 inches here as well. In terms of the snow character right now, with temperatures around freezing, the snow is generally heavier and wetter, but it will dry out and become more light and fluffy as we head later into the afternoon and the evening as temperatures drop. And we'll go over temperatures in a second, as well as a more detailed look at timing. In terms of snowfall rates right now, probably, and now through about 1 p.m., probably no more than 1/4 to maybe 1/2 of an inch an hour in the Piedmont. And then the peak snowfall rates are expected to occur between 2 and 8 p.m. with rates as high as an inch, maybe a little bit more than that per hour at times. So taking a look, more detailed look, this is our simulated radar. Right now, this is a little too aggressive on the rain changing to snow, but it should eventually change to snow everywhere except for the far southeast portions of the area, continuing through the afternoon and then slowly tapering off during the evening and overnight. As you can see, this is 9 p.m. I mean, snow could linger down here, kind of as I mentioned before, through midnight, and it could potentially linger a little after midnight, and we'll have to see, depending on how long that lingers, is whether we'll see down here maybe 1 inch or 2 or 3 potentially. In terms of temperatures, right now we are around or just above freezing, except Louisa is below freezing, and also are parts of the Central Virginia Piedmont. But temperatures really start to drop after that 2 p.m. and then conditions just rapidly deteriorating as we head into the latter part of the afternoon and into the early evening, with below freezing temperatures in most locations except for, Hampton Roads and coastal Southeast Virginia and Northeast North Carolina, with temperatures below freezing pretty much everywhere by the mid to late evening hours. And snow continuing and slowly tapering off here as we head into the evening, and this is just an hour by hour step of timing. We're not really expecting anything but rain or snow, so when it says wintry mix here, all we're really looking at is just a potential for a rain snow mix. We're not expecting any freezing rain or anything like that with this event today. Again, temperatures drop into the teens and 20s tonight, so this will allow any sort of wet pavement or anything like that to freeze. And again, with temperatures this cold, even treated roads could refreeze. So in terms of the wind during this event, it will be pretty windy along the coast with a decent breeze inland, gusts to 25 miles an hour expected. During the day, inland with gusts to 30 to locally 40 miles per hour closer to the coast. And then winds do diminish as we head through the night tonight. In terms of the marine, we have gale warnings for the southern coastal waters and mouth of the bay. And that's pretty much through this evening, with gusty winds continuing through tonight, up to 40 knots in the gale warning area, with gusts to 30, potentially 35 knots in the small craft area. So stepping through the wind timing, peak winds should occur generally from between now and this evening, with winds diminishing tonight. A brief lull is expected tomorrow before solid small craft conditions out of the south, with winds out of the southwest tomorrow night into Wednesday. And this is just a wider view of the 7-day marine wind and wind gust forecast. Nothing too out of the ordinary for this time of year, with a couple more shots at small craft after today's period of elevated winds. And in terms of the wave heights, waves building to potentially 6 to 9, maybe 10 feet down south due to the winds, and then in the bay looking at 4 to 5 feet. So with that, I will go back to the summary page. I'm going to stop the recording here.